on Off the Ball.
With Gillette, for an effortless finish to your day. New Gillette Labs Razor with exfoliating bar.
This is News Talk.
And then you're welcome along. So it's a Wednesday evening here in the show. Brian O'Driscoll with us after 8 o'clock to talk all things Leinster at the weekend and New Zealand tour for Ireland. We will have brilliant golf writer John Huggan with us to preview the US Open. Gets underway tomorrow at Brookline. Been a hell of a build-up. The Live Golf crew versus the good guys is the general sense of things over in Boston. So John Huggan with us 7:30. And then maybe you're a Troy Parrott man. Maybe you're an Obafemi man. Maybe you're a Nathan Collins man. But either way, the Irish goal of the season is no longer the grimmest affair in world sport after a very good result last night. So Dan McDonald with us after 9. We have Jonathan Wilson as well, because Gareth Southgate on the end of you don't know what you're doing and sacked in the morning chance at Molyneux. They weren't happy with Hungary 4, England 0 on English soil. Michael McCarthy here in the studio, hello.
Hey Joe.
And Richard McCormack, hello to you.
Joseph Molloy, good evening.
Yeah, England 4-0. Out of nowhere last night when we were watching Twinkle Toad Collins do his thing.
Yeah, we were kind of following it a little bit. We were like, geez, England are losing to Hungary again. Yeah. And then it was like, someone came in, it was like, it's 2-0. And then we kind of got in, like we were talking to Vinny and we were getting like properly into the Ireland game and all our analysis on it. And then I think one of the lads came in, lads, did you hear that England lost 4-0? Yeah. And it just felt surreal. It just felt, they're playing Hungary. Like, we can talk about meaningless fixtures and we can talk about who they had out and everything like that. I don't think it should be underestimated that we were playing Hungary. They're not a good side. I know they have had a good run to get them to League A in the first place, but you know, we saw them at the Euros. They're
no great shakes.
I was going to say they're weak enough, you know. Good for a hungry team, not necessarily on the we should be winning a World Cup England bandwagon style belief that would be there. They shouldn't be on their level.
Well, the fallout's very interesting in that Southgate seems to have no credit in the bank, and Jonathan Wilson will talk to us a bit about this in the football show. There is certainly a quotient of the English fans who don't love Southgate's fuddy-duddy liberal politicking and Black Lives Matter and all these kind of things, and so they've been maybe waiting in the long grass, or certainly giving him a short leash. And then there's to be honest, it seems a lot of former pundits as well. I was listening to a lot of TalkSport today, a lot of former players. I know, admittedly, TalkSport's going to be the more reactive of the outlets, I suppose, but still a lot of former players saying, like, is Southgate the right man for the job, and doesn't know, we're not so sure he does know what he's doing, and his innate conservatism is killing England, etc. And the innate conservatism seems to be the big issue with the English fans en masse. But I still would have thought he would have had more credit in the bank. 2 games in September, and then Qatar is upon him, so it's a bad timing to say the least. And but like, again, 12 months on from a very, very good effort and could so easily have won the Euros, and this was a second string England side. It seems he's given no latitude for the fact that this was like a C team.
If you broaden this out though, not just looking at England, but for a certain amount of League A teams, and I'm talking about Italy, I'm talking about France here as well, they've had exceptionally bad Junes. Like, their last week and a half has been awful. There's a couple of things kind of play into that. The fact that they've obviously played just like an insane amount of fixtures, 60 odd fixtures per squad, I guess, is huge. And secondly, they don't have to approach the Nations League in the same way that we do. I mean, they would look at the Nations League, we'd look at the Nations League in terms of the way Stephen Kenny approached it, saying we want to win this because we want to qualify directly for the Euros, and this is a means to do that. Whereas your France, your England, your Germany, Italy, etc., they know whatever group they're going to land in for qualifying for the next tournament, they're probably going to win it anyway. Yeah. So these things are just, they are at the friendlies that they're just taking the place of. Like, the results aren't good and they need rectifying. But it plays into the fact that I think we're going to have a very, very strange World Cup in November, December, because none of these teams are in any kind of form, and you're looking at probably a bolter from South America who can go on and win it, and it's probably, you know, nicely set for Brazil to go and win this tournament. But it's not just England have had a bad week. Like, France have had an appalling week, Italy have had an appalling week, and they've fallen off cliffs badly since the Euros in each of their cases since last year. Yeah,
well, we'll talk to Jonathan Wilson. In some respects, I find the lack of latitude given the most interesting aspect. Football Joe UK had a survey today, 4,800 votes. 54% of English fans want Southgate sacked. They want Graham Potter in. That's honestly, TalkSport today was awash with, are you seeing the football Brighton are played? If we had Potter with Harry Kane, we'd be unbeatable.
Oh God.
See, I do think that there's a collection of English players. Their league is now undoubtedly the best in the world. Those who are prospering enough to make the England team are at a level that we probably haven't seen before from an English team, at least in a way that we can't question as we might have before.
Yeah.
You know, how would they get on in Serie A or La Liga or whatever? That's all gone. There's definitely a sense of, you know, I think Ireland might have had it in one or two teams. I think there was an argument all the way through the Jack Charlton era. This is the best group of players we're ever going to have. We could do it so much better.
Yeah.
We might not even get any further, but we could get this far and do it better. Whether you agree with that or not is another thing, but I can see where people are coming from on it. I have to say, though, the biggest takeaway for me is that as somebody who, and it's not in this kind of like immature Irish, I hate the English way or whatever, I've just always enjoyed rooting against the English football team in many ways. Just as we've always been crap. You go to tournaments, we're not there. Not England not winning is the team I'm shouting for, if you know what I mean. It's been kind of annoying for the last 4 or 5 years that they've been so competent, and because of the way Southgate is, they're not like making mad mess ups.
No,
I was going to say a different word there.
They're quite likeable as well. I mean, it's hard to be too down on a team that are taking on this ugly, awful Tory government.
Yeah.
You know, Priti Patel and gang are saying, "How dare you take a knee before a match?" And they're doing it anyway.
It's happening during tournaments, Joe, which is making me kind of on one take going, I really hope Germany beat them, and on second says, well done, Gareth Southgate and all the boys. So that's been really kind of like just messed up with my equilibrium. So seeing a calamity and seeing Southgate being told he doesn't know what he's doing, it just makes me feel at home.
The big change, as a final thought on this, before we get too exercised about England here at 7:10 of a Wednesday evening, the big change from when he took over, when England were really in the mire, is that he came in and he steadied the ship, and it was a fairly conservative style of play, but it was effective, and there was a feel-good factor off the pitch as well. Whereas now, even the bench last night had Grealish, Rice, Mount and Foden. The bench, Grealish, Rice, Mount and Foden. That'll be the backbone of any World Cup winning side with potentially the right manager. There's now a sense that, well, the days of his innate conservatism are holding this brilliant, once-in-a-lifetime generation back. Whereas Southgate's argument is, look at Portugal, winners of Euro 2016. Look at France, winners of the World Cup in 18. Probably Italy to a slightly lesser extent last year. But conservative, well-organised football is the way to win international tournaments. Knockout football, 1 or 2 really tough games. Be defensively sound. Like, I see what you're doing, Trent Alexander-Arnold, over the course of a season. And over the course of a season, the good outweighs the bad. But in a Champions League final, your one mistake might not give me time to rectify.
He's really unlucky in the, you know, international manager, you take what you're given, and he's come across this golden crop of players that better than I think they've probably ever had, but they're all from, you know, number 7 up in the team.
Yeah.
Their best defender at the moment,
John
you
Stones.
could arguably say, is John Stones.
No, he is.
And as good, like, John Stones is definitely underrated by some of the kind of fun we've had with him over the years, but he shouldn't be the best defender in a World Cup winning team.
But you know what, they're so toxic as well, booing Harry Maguire a few weeks back.
Yeah.
No wonder the guy's confidence is
And
shot.
last night.
Oh, did they?
And last night. Yeah, he was coming on at one point last night, and the boos were really vociferous.
Yeah.
I think it was when they'd found themselves, I think they were 3-0 down at this point, but Maguire was being sent on for, I think, a midfielder, I can't remember who, but they again rained down the boos from Molloy.
Well, you'd want them to fall flat in their face for the fans then, wouldn't you? Whatever about the team, which seemed likeable enough. We should...
Or do you? Do you want them to succeed because the fans are being so awful towards them?
Yeah, but those fans are going to be happy if they win regardless.
Don't want those fans happy. I don't want anyone...
I don't want that guy who stuck the firecracker up his bum to necessarily have any joy in life.
Well,
not him particularly.
I don't
but
think-
I suspect he's not
what he
Djokovic.
represented.
I wouldn't worry about it. I don't think there's much joy there. Anyone who's booing Harry Maguire in an England jersey is just a little bit grim. Lads, I dislike English football fans so much. I think I want Southgate to be successful. I've never been so confused in my life, says Kieran. And gents, after watching the matches last night, I had a dream about England being knocked out on penalties by lads in white tops and black shorts. The England yips are underway already, says John Limerick. Before we press on, and we must do, because John Huggan is waiting patiently to preview the US Open for us, I got, it's like Pavlov's dog thing. I looked at Richie there on the screen, and honestly, I smelt vomit. I smelt the Nightlink.
That's just me, Joe. That's just the regular smell I'd bring into the studio.
Bohemians Football Club have released their latest hipster jersey, And they have gone for, and if you're outside of Dublin, this will not kind of have the same, it won't prompt the same visceral reaction from many of us. The design, that old, I don't think it's still there now, but that old design of a Dublin bus seat.
Yeah.
So it looks like Richie has taken the fabric of a Dublin bus seat and wrapped it around himself and stuck on a Bows crest. But that is their new jersey.
It's their FAI Cup jersey, yeah.
Oh, is it? I have to say, it's kind of a cool idea, and it's of the city. It's not the prettiest thing I've ever seen.
It works, and to be honest with you, there's obviously a good cause attached to this as well, because 10% of the profits are going to be going to Shout Out and to LGBT Ireland, and given the week that a certain part of that group has had. You can't
hit me with charity if I'm criticising the jersey. I didn't know that.
Charity, Joe. Charity all the way. So yeah, given the week that a certain tranche of that community has had in the public and in the press, it's probably a worthy cause to be highlighting today.
Another example of Bohemians trying to claim Dublin City for themselves as well. You know, the only club in Dublin. They take all the hallmarks of the city.
Are they changing their name to Dublin City?
No, Roddy and Co had that sewn up back in the day when they were signing Carlton Palmer and Efna Koku over from England. They were heady days for Dublin City.
That sometime.
Yeah,
oh God, I'd love to.
Roddy on
I was on the plane behind Roddy. I was coming back from Reading Festival in 2004 when he was after being over in England on one of his trips to sign Carlton Palmer. Back in the day. Good times.
How has the New Jersey gone down with the Bows fraternity?
Given the results so far this season, which have of course been middling to not great, there's a certain cohort who are like, concentrate on results, get things right in the pitch, will you? But Anton, that raises the profile of a League of Ireland club, whether it's ourselves, Drogheda, Galway, Trees United, whoever, it's a good thing.
And Dublin Bus, indeed. I mean, you go to Dalymount and you come away with just this nagging sense that you need to catch the bus for some reason.
There you go.
The Newsround is brought to you at Gillette Labs for an effortless finish to your day. I would think not a bad thing in life to be 20-year-old Gavin Bazunu.
No, he's having a medical, or indeed probably has had a medical at this stage at Southampton, ahead of a €14 million move from Manchester City. The Republic of Ireland goalkeeper has already agreed terms with the Premier League club and will provide competition for Alex McCarthy. Bazunu spent last season on loan at Saints rivals Portsmouth and was voted on the League One Team of the Year by his fellow pros. City have inserted a buyback clause into that deal, according to The Athletic.
Fraser Forster has moved on a free to Spurs, so there is definitely a vacancy there at number one. This is an amazing move.
Yeah, I was trying to go through Premier League teams as well as to who might suit best, and you feel like Gavin Bazunu can beat out Alex McCarthy, and you would think he's in the driver's seat for it, given the amount of money that they've spent on him. You know, there's always going to be a lack of trust, I think, in a young guy who hasn't been in the club, no matter what his CV is or no matter what the reports are on him. So I always kind of feared that someone would sign him, whack him on the bench, and eventually he would get his chance in the League Cup and be so good that he would get through. Because we do, I think, all believe that Bazunu is as good as it gets, really, or has the potential to be as good as it gets. But I think he's got he's gone straight into a comfortable Premier League team here who aren't going anywhere. And can have 2-3 really good years in the biggest shop window there is. And maybe it's back to Man City then, or maybe it's to somewhere even bigger,
Yeah, it's
brilliant.
Perfect move, great timing. Stephen Kenny, Rich?
Yeah, he says he's pleased with the response of his squad after a disappointing start to their Nations League window. Nathan Collins' superb solo goal, the highlight of a 1-1 draw with Ukraine in Łódź last night. Ireland end the window third in the group with 4 points to their name, ahead of September dates with Scotland and Armenia. Last night's result was achieved with a largely second-string defence, something which, speaking to FAI TV, delighted Kenny in particular.
We need that real competition for place. I think it's very important, and for us to improve, we have to. We have to strive to improve. It was a good performance, but we want even more, and that's certainly what we want. And considering the start we had, it was a good response from the players, winning and beating Scotland 3-0 and coming here and putting in a good strong performance. So, well done.
Well done, Jeff. Dan McDonald later on in the football show. Of the Nathan Collins, Troy Parrott, Michael Obafemi trio, what is Michael McCarthy's vote for goal of the season?
I think my favourite is Parrott still. I still feel like I'm on an island with Obafemi's been more than just a bang into the goal. I still think there was a brilliant goal in every way, and I think it's a very close second or third here. Collins I thought was rewarded for a brilliant bit of initiative in cutting out the ball. Then continuing to go, and then I thought he got lucky, and then the finish was perfect.
Yeah.
So I thought there was just that bit of luck in the middle there that he needed and deserved.
I've seen
but it just takes slightly away from it for me. But it was so exciting.
I know, it was amazing. I've seen people suggest he tried to chop the ball onto his knee, which he didn't.
No, that was bad pitch, and did well to react to it.
I think he reacted with his left knee, but you don't try and chop it onto your knee.
No, you certainly don't.
That's
Why would you do that?
No, you wouldn't.
Sorry, he's already having like this insane run where he's bursting through at 100 miles an hour. I don't think you're trying that right there.
Honestly, people are saying this.
People say a lot of things.
Well, okay. I mean, he's already. Indeed, they do, Michael. I mean, what John? So he's kind of made a bit of his trademark move to nip in front of player and take the ball away. And what was so pleasing about last night's one was he spotted really quickly and really early that the Ukrainian player wasn't tuned into the pass that was coming. So he burst forward about 15 yards. It was an amazing, it wasn't just I'm going to nip in last minute ahead of you. He ran 15 yards, anticipated the pass well in advance. And then because he was already moving at pace, he was like, well, I'm going to keep going. And as you said here, it opens up and the chop is good. And I think he reacts brilliantly with the left knee. And then if you think to yourself, and I'll make this point with Dan later on, this is the first time in Nathan Collins' life in an Ireland jersey he's in the opposition box with the ball at his feet. The first time in his life. Now, what do we all do in that instance? We crap ourselves and we make a mess of it. Whereas, the composure for him to weigh up the angles nicely, see the keeper where he was, and he just manipulates his body, beautifully balanced, to make the execution of the outside of the boot finish easy. Like, for someone of his calibre, it was a routine outside of the boot.
Yeah.
Slide it in there. The
logical thing to do there is to whack your foot through it.
Give it a smack.
And if it goes in, great.
Yeah.
And if not, nobody's going to really remember it anyway. But just he had way more composure than that. Impressive. So impressive.
And the shot of Malumbi on his kind of, he's benched over behind and one of the other defenders watching and kind of crouching down to see how it's playing out, and then the roar from all of them. And I think Parrott's in the shot as well. It's from behind the Irish goal, and you just think, man, these are all kids. This is the greatest time of their life, and they're buzzing. This young team are doing this thing together, despite all the noise that's on the outside. They have a manager that really believes in them, and there's a good thing going on there on the inside. And I can only imagine that must be ecstasy for all of them. It's beautiful.
It leads perfectly into what the clip was playing there about this being a second choice, largely second string defence. And we talked about it last night, that I think a texter said that I think of everyone who started in the back six in the previous games in March, only James McLean has survived. But I wonder how long that is a second string for.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can see Darragh O'Shea really growing into it as well, and he's back. He had a terrible injury that kind of curtailed him. Amadeili's still to come back. We've got Nathan Collins now is not going anywhere. He's first choice in that defence now, you'd have to say.
Yeah.
There's so much. It's been a blessing in disguise almost to have a bit of a kind of an injury suspension.
I know.
Pregnancy crisis, whatever it's been over the last few days.
Rich, what's your? I think I have talked myself today into Nathan Collins. Last night I still was in the Troy Parrott goal bandwagon. That was my favourite.
We've talked a good bit about that goal and why we love it as well. None of that is diminished by Nathan Collins.
Yeah,
well.
I think just the.
I think Collins is for me.
Yeah, the sense of adventure.
Yeah, that's fair.
The fact that if he was playing under Trapattoni or O'Neill or McCarthy, he would be out of the squad for the next 3 games for having ventured into the opposition half.
Yeah.
It's just and the composure on top of everything else.
The
control of the ball, even with a poor pitch. Lawrenson's a perfect example of somebody who could do that. Lawrenson was playing in midfield, I think, that night.
Of course he was, because he was too good a footballer for Jack Charlton to play him in defence.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think he was either playing right full or he was playing in midfield that night. Ronnie was on the left, but it's fantastic composure. It shows the confidence that is coursing through a lot of those players at the minute within the confines of that squad, to think that I can take this on, I can nip in and dispossess this guy here and take it on another 15-20 yards and see where that leads me, and I do have the composure when I get into the box to put that finish together. That speaks volumes of what has been, I guess, formulated by Kenny and Keith Andrews and John Eustace now on the training ground.
Yeah.
Over the past 18 months, it's brilliant.
A lot of players. I mean, what's our best team?
I don't know. That's a very good question, and I think that's what's been. It's that's more open now than it's ever been after this window.
Yeah.
Because of the way the injuries have gone and everything else. I also think we should mention that Ireland played very well last night for 90 minutes or close to it.
Yeah.
It's a tough away game. Ukraine were going for it. They had exciting players, and I just thought that we didn't wilt. We didn't feel like we were hanging on at the end. They had chances, we had chances. We played the ball. We didn't go into our shells. We just kept up the performance, and that was the most surprising thing to me.
the notion of an away game is a bad thing and something that you need to be extra cautious of, where that existed under previous managers, is thankfully gone, because it's a nonsense. Like, it's a game of football over 90 minutes, and like, without wanting to use the John Giles-ism, you're judged on, you take each game on its merits. Like, you don't play the crowd, you don't play the occasion, and they're not doing that. They're going away from home and playing pretty well, and like, it hasn't been an isolated case. Look at what they did over in Faro against Portugal. They deserve to win that game. That's against Portugal. And last night as well, they should have taken 3 points. And that's the nice conversation to be having, is that, you know, that should have been 3 points against a rather handy Ukraine side.
Yeah. Crucially for me, the energy was just up again. They didn't drop off like they did Ukraine at home. It was tough for Ukraine on the ball, or tougher, and the likes of Malumbi biting and McLean biting. So it married the two, really, the playing the football, but also those traditional Irish qualities that we have. So Dan McDonnell on the way after 9 o'clock. Jonathan Wilson, as well, as mentioned, talking England and Hungary. Brian O'Driscoll is with us after 8, and we'll preview the US Open this hour. Rich, a few more stories. So recall for Stephanie Roach.
Yeah, first call up in 3 years for the P-Men striker. She's included in Vera Pauw's squad for their upcoming World Cup qualifier with Georgia. Diane Caldwell also returns after injury and is the first ever call up for Durham goalkeeper Nisha McAloon, no relation to Paddy apparently. Ireland play the Philippines in a warm-up friendly in Turkey on Sunday. And Roisin Ní this evening claimed a second bronze medal at the World Para-Swimming Championships in Madeira. The Limerick teenager placed third in the final of the 100-metre backstroke S13. Ní snatched bronze by just 11 hundredths of a second, adding to a medal of the same colour in the 100-metre butterfly S13 on Sunday. It's Ireland's third medal of the Games, following another bronze for Nicole Turner yesterday. Turner's got another 3 or 4 events as well to come, so fingers crossed, more medals for Ireland in Madeira.
Graham has treated me to say, lads, I have 2 golf weeklies to listen to, so I'll be passing on tonight's show.
Good.
Graham, you're my kind of guy. You're my kind of guy, Graham. 2
We've got golf
weeklies.
too.
Yeah, we do. John Hogan on the way. Stick around
till 8 o'clock anyway.
20 more minutes and some more golf going your way.
And nobody's turning off Brian O'Driscoll for Golf Weekly, are they?
Golf Weekly fans are. Peter Lorre. So yesterday was like, let's reflect on the wildest week in golf, live golf, all that stuff. And McIlroy winning the Canadian Open podcast. This was a US Open preview. Okay. Shane Lowry come up early doors. Peter Lorre, not prone to hyperbole or overhyping players, said Shane Lowry will not finish worse than third.
Wow.
Yeah, got me excited.
Yeah, Brookline suit him.
Brookline suits him, US Open suits him, general form line suits him. The second smallest greens in major championship history. So small targets here, but that's okay for Lowry, and he's got beautiful short game anyway if he does miss the green. The one nagging concern Peter had is that he's been drawn with the bad boys, Phil Mickelson and Louis Westhuizen.
Ooh.
So there is the worry it becomes
Tension.
a boozy circus there around them. Not so much, they'll be fine, they'll be chatting away, there'll be no big deal. But Phil could potentially be a magnet for boozed up crowd to, you know, it could just become a circus.
I think Phil will have a lot of support in the crowd. If you're going to ask me, golf fans in America, I don't think they're as anti-Saudi Arabia as you might think.
The 9/11 thing has
The 9/11
played
thing.
badly.
Yeah.
I still think golf fans will. I think there'll be a determination almost not to let the noise get in over their support of Phil.
You could well be right. He got a very good reception at the practice day yesterday. Genteel rounds of applause.
Yeah.
But slight difference with boozed up Boston crowd when it gets going.
Yeah, well, that's a good point. Brookline, of course, 1999 Ryder Cup, boozed up Boston crowd, boozed up, almost acting boozed up American players, as we all remember.
Yeah.
Justin Leonard's not playing in this one, is he?
I don't think so.
No. Good.
Because some
Saw
people
enough
turned
of
up.
that
There was a tweet from, I think it was USGA or one of the golf channels tweeted, people have that frame jersey thing that they had on for the singles in 99, that weird shirt that the US Ryder Cup team are wearing.
The
on
man
the legs. There's
says
a few of them
the
still
weird
knocking out.
shirt.
Oh yeah, you wouldn't be a fan of those, no?
We're for charity, Joe.
The US Ryder Cup team would not wear that thing that you have on there. The 99 US Ryder Cup team would say, nah, that's enough. That's too far.
I could probably say other things about the US Ryder Cup team that probably won't allow me on air for next week, but that's another story.
So John Hogan is on the way 7:30 anyway. He'll preview the US Open, gets underway. Anything else you want to bring us, Rich?
Shamrock Rovers, they face a stern test in the second qualifying round of the Champions League if they beat Hibernians of Malta in the first. Bulgarian champions Ludogorets or Suceska of Montenegro await if they get through. And a date with Motherwell could await Sligo Rovers in the Europa Conference League if the Bitter Reds see off Ballatown of Wales in the first qualifying round. Tough one for St. Pat's as well. They'll play Sfuntu Gheorghe of Moldova or the Slovenian side Mura in the second qualifying round. The Saints went into the second qualifying round due to the exclusion of Russian clubs from the competition. And if Derry get past Riga, they'll play either MFK Razomberok of Slovakia or FK Kauno Zalgiris of Lithuania.
There's Richie Zimro in the bag anyway. Sports Broadcaster of the Year after that paragraph. Well done.
Nice pronunciations.
First round of Wimbledon still to come in a couple of weeks' time, Mick.
Yeah.
Cracking me knuckles for that one.
That's the gauntlet.
Peace
Fellas, we are
of piddle.
out of time, I'm afraid to say, so we'll have to park it there. Richie McCormack, thanks very much.
Nice lad.
And Michael McCarthy, thank you.
Cheers, lads.
Your chance